Hi guys. My name, for those of you who don't know who I am, Nicole, and I am the executive social media manager for Freedom Animal Rescue. And I am so excited to be starting here and so excited to go live today with Alex from the Dogs Bond game. And we hope you guys enjoy our yappy hour.
Absolutely. Couldn't have come up with a better intro for it myself. How are you, Nicole?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks so much for, you guys to make the time and spend a little bit of your precious volunteer time with us. So, really, really thank you so much. So, yeah, so for your audience who may not know me, I'm Alex. I'm the game designer behind Dogs Bond, and we are a board game that is designed for dog people by dog people, right? I mean, I think that if you follow our Facebook's, Instagram, Twitter, you'll see me, our illustrator, Sarah, our designer, Kiki, with more dogs than, you can possibly imagine. And, we're really, really excited to be partnering with, your rescue, Freedom Rescue and Animal Sanctuary, to really bring this project to life, right? That's kind of the whole thing. It's a really new way to bring a positive spin, pun intended, positive spin to the conversation about rescue, about adoption. So we reached out. You guys have been great, active rescue partners for this project. We love seeing the dogs that you're posting and all the work that you're doing. So we're really glad that you've joined the pack. So thank you again.
We are so excited to be part of this project. We think it's an absolutely amazing way to not only showcase the different ways that dogs interact, but the different ways that rescues and shelters interact and how people can sort of get more involved in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, cool. Well, then for our live conversation, wanted to just ask you a couple of questions and we'll dive right into it. So, so that way we'll keep the content nice and tight so that when folks are watching this, they're like, oh yeah, I can get through this. And so I hope we're doing about 20, 30 minutes, and that'll be fun. So for you guys over there at Freedom, what about Dogs Bond? What about the project really speaks most to you and your mission?
I think the biggest thing is that it allows people to sort of look at the different attributes of dogs
Mm-hmm.
and figure out more what a different dog looks like, because I think so many people get into their mind that a dog is happy, is energetic, wants to run around, and they
Mm-hmm.
forget that dogs in shelters typically aren't that stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared, they are uncertain, they're anxious,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to have issues, they're going to have backstories that we think that Dogs Bond is going to open up a whole new world of the behind the scenes without us trying to shove it down people's throats.
Right. Totally. Yeah. I mean, for me, when I do volunteer at rescues, a lot of times, during the adoption fairs or just, being at a rescue or a shelter facility, it'll come about where somebody will say, well, I'm really looking for a dog that will, go on runs with me. I'm like, okay, good, good. And that doesn't shed a lot. Well, okay. I mean, you have to compete. You have to contribute to that. And I really want them to like make my coffee and fold my laundry and, do all these wonderful things. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. The dog is not going to be what changes your life alone, right? It's really that partnership, that bond of friendship, that bond of love. And that's what we hope to bring forwards, right, with this game, very much. So you've seen lots of stuff on our social channels. You probably, I don't know, how much have you seen, and what material that you have seen excites you the most about kind of this project and like you said, changing that conversation?
So I actually run all of our social media. So
Hmm.
I've been able to interact with you guys a lot that way.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool how you guys are asking people to join the conversation.
Hmm.
So especially with your guys' Facebook and your Instagram, it's been really nice seeing, caption this, tell us
Hmm.
your story, tag these
Yeah.
people, because
Yeah.
it brings more people into the conversation. And I think the fact that you guys already have that established now, by the time the board game gets printed and gets sent out,
Hmm.
people are going to be talking about it all across the US. You're going to have
Yeah.
people from my friends in Alaska talking to people down in Florida who are like, hey, have you heard about this game? What did you name your dog? Have you heard
Absolutely.
Spot's story? And it's
Yeah.
going to showcase those dogs that truly need the help of humans to get over what other humans have done to them in the past.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. One of the fun things that we really enjoy when we actually, even when we're doing play testing, right, with like index cards and really early form cards, has been that after we play through and we talk about, this was your rescue story, these are the attributes that your dog had, and who did your dog go home with as a final adopter and a forever home. And then we start talking about our animal friendships, and people start really opening up about, really kind of in a soulful way, right? What it is that an animal bond, an animal friendship has really done for them, right? And how much they miss an animal or love a current animal, right? Or how that has impacted their life. So yeah, it's really fun when we play around, when we play a game. It's great. So, why don't we, really quick, what is the story that started your rescue, or what's the most memorable rescue story for your organization? I don't know if your audience has been able to, do that super deep dive if they're brand new, kind of like us. So, what is the story behind, your rescue?
So I actually only joined the team in April. That's when Haley, our founder, sort of found me on Facebook and we connected. And then I
Hmm.
became a very active member of the organization. Haley started the organization because there weren't very many animal rescues in Jackson, Michigan, which is where we're
Hmm.
based out of. There are a
Hmm.
ton of absolutely amazing rescues across the state, but with how big Michigan is,
Hmm.
it's hard to get all of those animals in all of these cities covered. So she felt like it was something that she needed to do. She wanted to
Hmm.
start one where she
Hmm.
liked the way that it was being run, which is,
Right.
I think, how a lot of things start, is you don't like the way that one thing is
Absolutely.
being started, so you start your own.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And I'm sure she has a bunch of crazy stories. I think my favorite since I've started was we got a Facebook message about these two dogs that it was probably a corgi mix and then a lab mix that were
Hmm.
being housed in the same small crate. And when I say small, I mean it's
Mm.
big for a 15-pound dog. Being housed in that same crate, they have a ton of medical issues, a ton of just fear issues, emotional issues, everything. So we got the call and immediately we went out and we got these two dogs. Both have since been adopted
Awesome.
and they have just the most beautiful stories that they started out as these dogs with medical issues, needing to be spayed, needing to be fixed, needing tumor removal, all of these issues. And to see them in their new homes now, I almost don't recognize the dogs because they've got
Hmm.
fur growing back. They're happy, they're exercising. And the
Hmm.
fact that we were able to help in that transition is just one of the most rewarding things about rescue, because you see where they started and you get to see where they end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, for us, that's exactly what we're hoping to support with this project long term, right? When we reached out, I think we talked about, we need this project being the board game for dog people worldwide, right? We need to help to get over that hump, to get through the Kickstarter phase, but really then commitment, right, on an annual basis. So as we take this game and it's being sold in, crossing our fingers, right, being sold across the nation or even worldwide, right? We're going to keep on coming back and saying, yeah, but you know who was here in the early days? These guys, right? And so, getting, I think that this has been a really interesting and really unique opportunity to get rescue and rescues, dog lovers, board gamers, all together, all behind kind of one idea, and make it an even kind of similarly powerful story, right? Where you can say, oh yeah, I remember when it was just, that index card, or, that screenshot of the box kind of mocked up, right? All the way through. Actually yesterday or Sunday, we just filmed the Kickstarter video with the actual prototype. So we're super duper excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to have it come so far. So again, thank you guys for your support. So, one of the things that I think no one expected, right? And for us, or personally, I've been working on this board game since 2017. So it's been in progress, in development, play testing, balancing, all that other stuff for 3 years. And then we did the art and the layout and the design, and it's all ready to go in the last year. What nobody expected, rescues, board gamers, anybody, is of course, the global pandemic situation that we have today. So how has the COVID-19 situation impacted your organization's ability to get rescue dogs, to get out there, to get the word out, do fundraisers? Like, how has it impacted you in the last 4 months?
I think the biggest impact is that we can't go meet anyone. So if we want to go, rescue an animal, we have to be in contact with that owner, assuming it's an owner surrender,
Sure.
and figure out a safe way to do the surrender, and then make sure none of us are symptomatic so that
Right.
we don't pass that along. And then if it's a dog or a cat that's out loose, we have to make sure that there aren't too many volunteers in the area all looking for
Right.
the same animal, because then you break the 6-foot rule.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been crazy trying to figure out ways to get around that in a safe way. And then trying to get these animals adopted, we want to make sure that they're going into a safe home environment. So we've had to switch to video home checks and online home checks rather than going in person. And then fundraising it's opened up a whole new world, especially for us who haven't done online fundraisers that often before this happened, to all of our fundraisers now are online platforms. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, and sort of switching over to that was definitely a learning curve. But I think that the way that COVID has impacted everyone, it looks like it's here to stay, at least for a little
while. Yeah.
I think that it's shown us some really good ways of how to communicate with other rescuers and animal control and things of that nature. Not only our organization, but I see it with other organizations as well, is that we're all communicating more and talking to one another.
Yeah.
And that's just been a huge game changer, because all of a sudden it's like, hey, we have a cat we don't have room for. Do you guys have room?
That's
right.
So
there's that open line of communication that didn't really happen before, not because no one wanted to do it, but because there wasn't really that much of an incentive.
Sure. Right. So similarly, or to piggyback on that question is, have you seen locally to your area, we hear stories about, like, near me, San Francisco, or across the country, right, New York City, where animal rescues, animal shelters are actually empty because a lot of people are adopting a lot of dogs, a lot of cats, right, and bringing those animals into their homes. Are you seeing the same? Are you seeing it, maybe on a different level?
Definitely seeing that. The Detroit Animal Shelter actually has been emptied several times,
Great.
with the exception of like their medical cases, which can't be adopted out. But there's been people wanting to. That's actually how I got in contact with rescue, was that I posted on Facebook in a local group and said, hey, I'm open to foster. I have foster experience. Who has a dog that needs a foster?
Yeah.
And I've since fostered 7 dogs during quarantine. I've had friends that have fostered even more. And you end up falling in love with the process, and it brings people back and back and back again. And so definitely COVID has helped a ton with the adoption rates increasing, with being able to bring dogs from other areas of the country. Like, we're talking with rescues and shelters from the rest of the states, trying to figure out if we can get transportation from their
Right.
overcrowded shelters into our state so that we can facilitate those adoptions, because people are looking and there are
Hmm.
definitely animals out there. We just got to figure out the right match.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing in, same thing in the game. We have that conversation too, right? It's, if you've got the dog, if you've got a dog with, the right attributes and things like that, they could be moved from, one place, or be, taken by a breed specific rescue or another rescue, or brought back for the next weekend, right? That sort of thing. We have these stories baked into kind of, what we're talking about, to again change the tone and temper of the rescue conversation. I remember when I first started pitching this game, even to artists that I was trying to work with, and I said, well, the game is where the players become a rescue dog and they collect the attributes they need to be adopted into a forever home. Pretty simple. And some folks went, ooh. And I was like, why? Why do you do that, right? Tell me your story. And I would get stories like, sad stories or frustrating stories. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, wouldn't it be nice if there was something that really told this story, infused the story with more play, whimsy, joy, and really the hope, right? The hope of, finding that match and finding those bonds in those unlikely places. And that's what this game does. And I think, again, the whole point is, one of the points is to, bring folks together, play a game, right? Find dogs and a forever home in a board game. These are the best examples of friendship that I can think of, right? Because if you're sitting down to play a board game with somebody, you're probably pretty good friends, or gonna be, right? And then, dogs, I mean, every single dog that I've experienced, and either through foster or adoption, kind of same thing, right? You fall in love with that process and you're like, I couldn't imagine getting a dog any other way, or bringing a dog, to someone else any other way, right? So yeah, you become that ardent supporter, that firm supporter, and wouldn't it be cool to have this game on game store shelves, long-term thinking like Target, Walmart, right? And you can be like, yeah, I know those guys. That's my game. That's my project. I help them. So yeah, again, super appreciative. So speaking of which, why should your supporters, right? I mean, Freedom Rescue, Animal Sanctuary, you guys are in Michigan. I'm in California. The artists are in North Carolina. So how does this as a product fit with your mission?
So I think the thing is that so many rescues are just trying to help as many animals as possible and get people to understand why a rescue dog, rescue cat, rescue animal is the way it is. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why, like, the attributes, the fact that dogs collect attributes and that's how they get adopted, that for us was such a huge part of it, because dogs in shelters, especially ones of certain breeds, get labeled a specific way, and
Absolutely.
people don't take the time, or I shouldn't generalize like that. Oftentimes these dogs are overlooked because maybe they're cowering in the corner because they're scared from being in a
Right.
box for
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, or they just got dropped off by a family and they don't know why. And
Right.
the fact that the board game addresses some of those issues and says, hey, well, this dog started out with no attributes that we could recognize, and
Mm-hmm.
collects energy, collects cuddling, collects all of these different things, just shows how a dog can evolve. And I think really is going to open up the minds of people across the country, regardless of if you have had a shelter dog or have volunteered. You can always learn more, and the fact that you can do it in a game just makes it stick that much better.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. We've got you've got it right there. Okay, that's it. I don't know how else to talk about this game now. So yeah. So do you think that your supporters, your locally, even thinking about games, local game shops in your community and so forth, it's like when we can all go back to hanging out and playing some board games together, what you've seen a lot of our social media, you've seen a lot of our art, illustrations, the design. What do you think that is most exciting about, very soon, hopefully, being able to handle the game, being able to hold the game in your hands? Like, what is it that you're going to immediately go to? Are you going to be looking at the attribute lists? Are you going to be looking at the adopters illustrations, the dog illustrations? What are you most interested in?
So me personally, I'm most interested in the attributes list, but
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that at least a lot of the people in the general community are going to be looking at those dog illustrations, because I'm telling you guys, if you have not seen some of these dog illustrations, they crack me up, and I'm always laughing at just the different antics that these dogs are in the position of. Like, your artists are out of this world. They are
Yes, thank you.
amazing. And I fall in love with every dog that you guys are posting, and just the little caricatures of them. And I mean, I say I'm most excited about the attributes. I'm probably going to spend more time looking at the dogs and being like, oh my God, look at this one. It's so cute.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to be a huge eye catcher, because so far the only really dog board game on the market is Dogopoly. And
Mm-hmm.
not a
Right.
lot of, like, I personally, I'm not a huge Monopoly fan, so I don't
Right.
like playing it, but I
Right.
bought it because it has dogs in it.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
this is a game that you can actually play, and it's not going to have that weird Monopoly feel, and it's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
game that you can engage with, and that also is educational. So it's going to be a family type thing rather than
Mm-hmm.
just sitting around with your 20 something, 30 something friends.
Right. Right. Yep. Absolutely. Again, you're nailing it. I mean, what do I say at this point? Um, for us, it was, for me personally, when I started this journey 3 years ago, I looked at the game market and I thought, okay, well, what kind of games, what type of games do I like playing? What type of games do I like bringing to my group of friends? And I started looking at, different games as far as, thematically and how do you play, right? Are they party games? Are they trivia games? And when I looked at dog games, specifically games that involve dogs, most of them included like, you know, zombie fighting things. And you would find a dog and it was like an equipment piece. It was like finding a medical kit or finding, a car. It's like I found a dog and now this dog does this stuff for me, with me. And I'm like, is that the best we can do? Right? And then other games that I remember, like these are old games, like like along the lines of like Connect Four, Guess Who, where the dog is actually the villain, right? Where the dog is like going to bite the players if you didn't do a thing or whatever. And I'm like, again, we can do better. We can do better. So I started working on Bond and kind of thinking about how do we engage, how do we connect with these animals. And then I thought, well, I rescued a dog a long time ago when I was in college, and she was great, and I miss her dearly. And I thought, okay, well, what was that story like? How did that evolve for me, and how did she teach me to be a better dog owner? And so yeah, so put that into a board game, and included some elements like what you're seeing, right? The colors, the shapes, the art, definitely those capturing those candid moments, right? That's exactly what we've been working really hard to bring together. So thank you for that. So yeah, so I know that we're coming up on time. We've got a couple of folks in the audience. I don't know if there's any questions. If you have any, shoot us a comment or hit those likes and smileys for us. I think that kind of the next phase for us, right? We're about 2.5 weeks away from going to Kickstarter for pre-orders, right? Where we're actually going to kick off and try to get this thing happening. But before we do that, we're really, really looking forwards to getting, to trying to get to 1,000. And what I mean by that is within the last 2 weeks, we've grown to 500 likes on Facebook and Instagram, and we love it. We need more, right? If we're going to make this the board game for all dog people, we need that. So what do you think we need? What is it that we need to do to get, everyone who's following and fans of Freedom Rescue to come join us on this journey, to join our pack?
So what we've decided is we're going to share and blast you guys everywhere. We're going to make sure that people on our rescue and people who follow us and these other rescues in Michigan know, hey, there's an awesome board game coming out. Not only does it feature rescue dogs, but it's going to teach people about how these rescue dogs get their attributes and what attributes they can collect.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to make sure that people understand it's not just another game. It's something that we are actually living and seeing every day.
Yep.
And so we're going to make sure, we're going to do our best to help you get there.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, with your support, I mean, we can't lose. Just with your support and your energy and enthusiasm, we can't lose, right? And we're going to try to. We're doing our best. We've actually been approached by a couple of media outlets to start talking about it. So yeah, we'll talk about kind of what's next and on the horizon. Awesome. So before we go, do you have any questions for me? I know I've taken up a lot of the oxygen in this interview, but dying to know, or is there any questions that you'd like to ask the designer or the illustrator or anything that you have questions on?
I think we're just so excited to be able to put in those pre-orders and start getting games and start playing.
Awesome.
So we're just really, really excited.
Us too. So great. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for being an active rescue partner with us and really kind of making this dream become a reality. I love your passion. I love the fact that we share a mission together, and that, I think this is exactly what we're talking about when we think about what kind of bonds of friendship can be made when, even though we've never met in person, we are states away, and who knows how long it is before we can travel to, give each other a high five. So, yeah, but with your guys' support, we're trying to make Dogs Bond Game a reality. So thank you again for all your support, all that you do, and keep on engaging with us, and we'll do the same.
Perfect. We look forward to it so much. Thank you, Alex.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole, and thanks for letting me do a little interview with you guys on your Instagram. It means the world to us that we have these opportunities to really get to know you and to support you long term.
Well, we are so excited, and we'll see it in 2 weeks, right?
We'll see you in a couple of weeks. So awesome. Thank you again. All right, everybody. Thanks again.
Bye, guys.
Bye.